Hey, good morning. We made it. We did it. Here we are. It's this moment. This moment in music. Thanks so much for being here. My guest today is Alex Smith Walker, or Alex Walker Smith. Hold on, just a sec. Yes, Alex Walker Smith. Wait, hold on. Sorry, Alex, I got mixed up there. Alex Walker Smith is my guest this morning. What a cool guy, a voice actor and musician from Los Angeles. He's getting up early this morning, so let's give him a warm welcome. But thanks again, especially if you're new, welcome. Write new in the comments. I want to connect with you. It's this moment in music. This is like something like episode 34. I'm so glad you're here. I'm on my morning walk down in Kent, Ohio, and enjoying a beautiful day. I'll see you in just a second. All right, have fun. Bye-bye. Alrighty, here we are. Welcome everybody, this moment in music. My name's Hal Walker and I'm so glad you're here, for real. I gotta tell you a little story about today's show. So, I've been hanging out on, hold on a second, I don't really like that sound. Let's see. There we go. I've been hanging out on TikTok and I came across this guy, Alex Walker Smith. And I thought, dang, that's cool. I love that stuff he's doing. Kind of wacky, wild music concepts and everything. So I got up the nerve to send him a message and say, hey, dude, want to be on my show? And he said, yeah, let's do it. And then I announced it on Facebook a few days ago. I said, here's my whole lineup for the month. Alex Walker Smith is on Wednesday. And a couple minutes later, I got a call from my old friend Al Smith, who's one of my favorite people in the whole world. Especially, just a great musician, one of the legendary harmonica players in existence. And I got a call from Al, and he said, Hal, Alex Walker Smith? And I said, yeah, he's going to be on my show. And he said, that's my grandson. So it's a small world. I played in a harmonica quartet with Al, and I just have so much respect for this man. In fact, I want to play you a little video of Al Smith playing the chord harmonica. Most of you have probably never even heard of a chord harmonica, but Al Smith is a master. And check this out. Al Smith playing I don't know how many notes. We'll have to have Al on the show to explain the whole situation, but here's Al Smith. Yeah, that's it. Nice. That was in our younger days. That was in our younger days, Al. Oh, man, I miss those times. So that's the cool story. Hey, Whiskey Meadow Pike, Laura, nice to have you back. Thank you. Laura Lewis was on my show on Friday, and she has one of the most watched episodes of my entire series. So awesome. Thanks, Laura. All right, here's my big idea. Every day I try to have a big idea, and here's my idea for the day. I woke up this morning and I didn't have any ideas, and I thought, I go on this beautiful 1 mile walk every day after my show. After my show, I turn everything off and I just let go of the phone and let go of the computer, and I go on this 1 mile walk down to the Cuyahoga River. And And I said, well, you know what I should do is I should take a video of myself taking this 1 mile walk and speed it up and then narrate the whole thing as I go on the walk. So this was not the most important thing that needed to be done this morning. But I was taken with this idea and I said, I'm going for it. So I just did a mile walk, and I'm going to now illustrate, or I'm going to narrate you through the whole way of this walk through Kent, Ohio. Let's see how this idea turns out. Thanks for your patience, everybody. Here we go. All right. The show has ended. There's my cat. Heading outside into the beautiful hot August day of Kent, Ohio, down my street. I've lived here for 20 years. I'm very familiar with all these houses. And there's Haymaker Parkway ahead, I see. The big highway. You know, back about 30 years ago, they tore down a bunch of houses to make this big parkway. And I crossed the parkway into Fred Fuller Park, the park that I've been visiting my entire life since 2nd grade. I used to walk my dog Pippi here, and we have a nice series of bike paths here. There's a dog. And there's the Cuyahoga River. Look at that. The Cuyahoga River running through Kent, Ohio. And look, there is a bike. And I keep walking. Oh, by the way, this one part of the path used to be just this rugged path. And they paved it and put this 8-foot path in, and I was really pissed at the time, but now it's such a nice bike path. Up the stairs, Tannery Park, John Brown Tannery. We'll tell you the whole story about John Brown some other time. And then under the Haymaker Parkway, this is where we used to hang out when I was a kid. Under the parkway, down past the river. This is where I get to walk. I feel, hold on. Decline. There we go. There's the river, the beautiful Cuyahoga River. Ah, yes. And here we come to the great overlook of Kent, Ohio. I had a little conversation with this guy here, told me he was a musician. Back up the stairs and onto Main Street. There's Kent. Main Street, Kent, Ohio, past the Kent Free Library. There's a cool poem there produced by the Wick Poetry Center. Hey, David Bodignani's on the phone, or on the call. Hey, yeah, there's a tragic story behind that spot. There's the Masonic Temple. Up here, there's a peach tree that I stop and take a look at the peaches. Right there on Main Street. Here's a peach. There's a peach tree right on Main Street. I once made out with a girl up in that house. I used to live in this house coming up on 501 West Main. I lived there with some old friends back in the early 90s. And now here we are coming back home. Here's Bissler's Funeral Home up ahead. I live near Bissler's Funeral Home. And back down the alley. And here we are home. All right. Well, everyone, that was my big idea for the day. And now I'd like to bring on our special guest. We got to hang out last night, and I learned a little. I'm so amazed by young people like under, I don't know. I consider him young. I have no idea how old this guy is, actually. But he's sort of young, and he has this amazing job. People actually pay him to do creative things. And I'm so fascinated. So let's just watch a little moment of some animation by Alex Walker Smith, and then let's bring Alex on. Here's Alex Walker Smith.
So I'm a composer, and this is what it looks like when I get a scene that I have to score. This is for a YouTube channel called Mashed, and they do a lot of video game parodies. But the first thing I do is I pull up a bunch of low-ram pianos and sketch out ideas that I think will work, and I'll show you that now. And after that, I take those ideas and I orchestrate them. That is, I decide what instruments are going to play what parts. Like here's a clarinet. So here's that clip fully orchestrated.
Alex, that is so cool, man.
Thank you. And the cartoon style is always really fun to do because it's not asked for very often, which is why I was excited to share that one on TikTok.
I know, that is so cool. So, Alex, here's my first question to get you rolling. So,
Sure.
how, as a creative person with lots of creative ideas, how do you prioritize? Like, how do you know? I have this tendency, if an idea hits me, it's like I just got to run with it. How do you actually decide what you're going to focus on and what you're going to do today?
That is always
so many creative
that's
ideas.
the question, right? So like when it comes to my voiceover career and my music career, people ask, well, which one's your main one? And I always say, well, they're both my main ones. I'm just as passionate about both, and I do them both for a living. But I guess if you ask me at any given time, I'll tell you, well, right now I'm focusing on this one because this week it's paying, and then like the next week it's this one because this one's paying. It's just whatever life throws at me, So right now with the pandemic and everything, at first when the pandemic started, voiceover went really high, went up for me because I've got a booth, I've got a home studio, I can produce broadcast quality audio from home, so that was a good selling point and everything. But then very early on, that was the case. But then it didn't take long for the rest of the voice actors out there to try to make their own home studios.
Everybody's got their own home studio. And by that I mean
they put up a single piece of foam and get a USB mic and say, I have a home studio too. And I'm like, oh, now my competition is so much bigger.
I'm one of those guys, by the way.
So it got flooded, and the market. So voiceover slowed down a little bit, and I was like, it's too hard to concentrate on this right now. There's just way too many voices, no pun intended, to be heard over. So yeah, I've been concentrating on music a little more recently. Well, and Alex, I do game audio, so I write music and do sound design and voiceover for video games.
That is so cool. I want to play this video or this audio that was put then to a. Would you tell us a little bit about this crash audio that I'm about to play?
Yeah, so this is again the same guys on YouTube that you just played the clip from earlier. They're called Mashed, and they do a lot of parodies and stuff. This one is about the game Crash Bandicoot, and two characters, Crash and Aku, who are like close friends in this cartoon, end up being separated, and when they find each other again, this is the cue, which is the music that I wrote for it, which is supposed to sound like a 90s romantic comedy or something, like a heartwarming, family-friendly type thing. So here's that orchestral that I wrote for that scene.
So this is Alex Walker Smith, an original orchestrated composition. Alex, that is so nice. I love that.
Thank you. It's I think I told you yesterday. It's inspired by '90s film scores. People like James Newton Howard, John Debney, and also David Newman, another one. Those guys were really prominent in like family comedies and stuff like that in the '90s. And that cue actually,
they ended up using a different piece of music at the very end where it swells the biggest. It cuts to a really fun, jaunty, like almost a rock kind of piece, because they're having drinks together in the cartoon, and it shows like a quick montage of images of them having fun together. You know.
So will we get to hear?
That happens.
I think that we get to see that in the video I'm about to show. So this, what I'm about to show now, I have the video. We're going to show that. So he sent them the music, and they created this animation, right? And
well, actually, yeah, the voices are done first, the animation's done next, and then the last thing is sound design and music. So I wrote this too.
You wrote it to the thing. That is so
cool,
yeah, man.
I completed that music like 3 or 4 hours maybe before they uploaded it, because that's how the pipeline goes. You know?
That is so awesome. And here, watch this, everybody. Here's the final animation that Alex finished 3 minutes before uploading.
Aku!
Crouch?
You're here! I tried to find you. I wanted to apologize. How have you been? You look good.
Crush, Hey, we're gonna miss the start of the...
Oh, you're protecting him now.
Crash,
It's okay. Aku! One drink.
One drink.
Yeah, that was some canned music that they had for that ending montage. It did work better. It worked better having that music, which was their idea. I originally wrote the longer ending you heard earlier, and it would play through that montage, and it was going to play through the credits as well. And it was like over the top wholesome, and I thought that was funny. And I think it was funny, but it did make more sense to have it have a bigger, more energetic ending like that. I think it worked out really well.
I know. So we have a question from the studio audience here. Tube says, how did you feel after you wrote that? Was there a sense of accomplishment? Like, that's a great question. Like, when you finish a project, do you feel satisfied?
I really do, and I get a lot of fulfillment from Mashed, because I've worked with them for many years now. And every time I do a project with them, it's usually a completely different genre. I get to like flex different muscles I didn't know I had. I've learned so much from scoring their cartoons, and of course voice acting in them too. I get to play so many characters. So every time I'm like I told you, the pipeline is voiceover comes first. So I get a script, and I wasn't in this one. I didn't do voiceover for this one. But yeah, I'll usually get a script, I'll read it and act the parts and everything they want me to do. And I'll send them the voiceover. Then a couple months later, usually, they have the rough animation or the animatic. And sometimes, if I'm lucky, I'll get the animatic to score to, which gives me more time. Because that means that the major beats are already, the timings are already locked and stuff like that. But sometimes I don't. I just get the finished animations. Like, yeah, this is 99% done, and we're uploading it in 3 days. And we need, 5 minutes of music awesome. Sometimes, and this one, luckily, I only had to do about a minute or a minute and a half of music, but sometimes it's a lot more. And then it goes up, and usually I don't have time to cut the umbilical, so to speak. It's there's so much more I would have liked to have done with that cue, but I just didn't have the time. I sat down and I did it with that like minimal breaks in about an 8-hour session, and when it was done, I sent it to them. And it was like, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, because they're in England, And then they said, yeah, it's good. You can go to sleep now. And so I go to bed when the sun comes up,
That reminds me of this show. We go on at 11 o'clock whether I'm ready or not. And like this morning, I did that quick open for you, and I got your name wrong. And I said, I'm just keeping it. I'm going forward with it. I'm not going to edit that out.
It's like, not just you. I don't know why the 3-name name is hard for people to get. See, I can't go by Alex Smith. That's too plain. And
is there a dash between your name?
So, no, that's just my middle name.
Okay, well then I gotta get rid of the dash. I gotta get rid of the dash. Okay, that's your middle name. Okay, all right, good.
Because Alex Smith was too plain, you just couldn't look me up. So I put in the middle name, and people, oh, is there a dash? No, there's no dash. Oh, is Walker your last name? No, it's Smith.
Okay.
Oh, is it a hyphenated last
name? I'm glad we got that
Smith?
straight.
No, Alex Walker Smith.
Yeah, you don't want to get confused with the great Al Smith.
Right? Why would I want to be confused with someone so cool?
I know. So here's another
What a
question for you,
coincidence.
Alex. You seem like someone who is just constantly flowing, like there are no struggles. There's no, like you just open up a project and you're like wham bam bam, thank you ma'am, it's done. What do you say to the person, like where do you struggle and where do you struggle in the creative process? Like what's hard for you? Do you ever have doubts or do you ever
I'd say
fight
like
yourself?
The first 30 or 40% of my work is banging my head against the wall saying, I can't do this, I can't do this, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm a fraud, they're gonna notice that I'm actually faking this, I don't know how to write music, you know. But then of course you get over that, you start to inspire yourself and you start to actually write the music, you throw some things out, you try some new things, and eventually at the end of it, it's often something I can be proud of, you know. And of course, like I said, I always look back and go, oh, I wish I could have done this, I could have done that, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, you just got to move on. Who was the painter who said you have 1,000 bad paintings before you get to your first good one, or something like that, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you got to get back on the horse. That's what I've been thinking about lately.
Having a deadline makes you
Yes.
create stuff. If you don't have a deadline, you'll just never create. You'll never finish things because it'll never be good enough for you. You know. So having someone tell you, I need this by such and such a time, it makes you finish things.
That's awesome.
I like that about
That's
having
awesome.
deadlines.
So, Alex, just to mellow us out a little bit, I heard yesterday while we were having our sound check, you talked about your love of Chopin and Bach.
Yeah,
would you
if I
give
could
us?
be a classical pianist,
Would you give us a little bit?
That'd be enough for me.
Would
Yeah,
you
we
give us
pull
a
out a
little bit of
Play-Doh.
flow here? He do be
I have
vibing. Hey,
I
wait,
have
we got a new guy. We got a new guy here. Abby Say, the Flower Boy. Thanks for being here, bro. He has a better camera quality than PewDiePie. All right.
Al or me. I just have this.
No, you talking about?
Logitech
I
thing.
think he might be talking about you. I don't know.
Oh,
Or
I'm
me.
glad they approve. Well, I have a what is this, a 61 key keyboard, so to play some of the different ranges I have to hit the octave key, so forgive me if I got some mistakes here, but here's a Chopin nocturne I like to play.
Everyone, lay back, relax, enjoy the finger stylings of Alex Walker Smith.
Let's unmute it. Sorry, I'm getting a feedback loop from the Skype connection. It's throwing me off. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's like a... Let me start back here again. There's the opening phrase. Could you hear that okay?
We heard that beautifully, Alex. We heard that beautifully.
I am glad.
Yeah, that
I've
was
played
nice.
that piece since college, and sometimes I don't go playing it for a full year, and I come back to it, and I'm like missing some parts of it that just left, you know, and I just, I gotta bring this back into my fingertips, and I work on it for a couple days, and it's like, yeah, it's all back, and then I'll put it back on the shelf in my head for another year, you know. Just one of my favorite pieces. He never released that piece, Chopin. It was found after his death. It's posthumously released. It's one of his more popular ones now.
It's not like the old days of sitting at a piano in a room together, gathered around the piano. We're in the modern day. You know, you're in LA playing on a keyboard in which you have to change the octave. I saw you change the octave button.
Yeah. That's because my 88 key is over there,
Yeah.
and it's not hooked up to my computer to control MIDI. because I have like digital instruments on my computer, and I have a really nice piano it's called a Walker 1955 by Embertone.
Nice.
Same, your namesake and mine, Walker.
Well, Alex, unfortunately, our time is already running short. So I just want to say, I want to have you back sometime so we can continue this conversation. You're just such an interesting guy.
So don't let me make your thing go too long.
That's all right. Let me see if do we have one more thing I wanted to share with everybody? Alex, the long walk, the low-key lesson, Al Smith. I think we pretty much covered it. Let me just ask you one final question about this idea of being a voice actor. So could you give us a demonstration of what voice acting is? Like, do you have a poem you can read for us, or an improvised scat or something?
I don't have a poem prepared or anything, but I'm not a writer. But voice acting it's interesting. If you ask any voice actor what they mostly do, they're probably going to tell you it's commercial work, just because there's more of it out there. And these days, commercial reads, they want conversational. They want guy next door.
Right.
They want John Krasinski type.
Yeah.
And so, like,
I want to do
I
that.
always give an example of what a commercial sounds like now is, this is the product name. And you can trust me talking about it because I sound like a regular guy. Product name. And sometimes a slogan. They don't want, this is the name of the product, and you want it because I'm a cheesy car salesman. They don't want that anymore.
That's great, man. I want to do that. How do I get into this? I'm going to have to
I get that question several times a week.
I know. I want to get in
all social media.
I know. I want to get into that, and I also want to get into video game. Everyone on my I've got some sounds blowing up on TikTok, and everyone's like, "Dude, you should write for Zelda. You need to be the next blah blah blah." I'm like,
I'd love to talk more about voiceover sometime too, because that's another can of worms to open.
Yeah, well, we'll do that next time. Everyone, we're out of time. I got to introduce my act for Friday. Sometimes I wish this show was 45 minutes, but I do kind of like the half-hour show. It's more like wham, bam, out of there, ma'am. Everyone, thank you. Alex, I'm just going to hang on. We'll say hi after the show. Everyone, give a final wave to Alex Walker Smith.
Thanks for having me, Hal.
What a great creative guy. And on Friday, I've got this guy, Quation. Quation is his name, another guy I found on YouTube. And just listen to this. While I say goodbye to Alex, we're going to welcome Quation, who is here Friday at 11 a.m. All right, here we go.
My dreams keep me awake at night. It's hard closing my eyes knowing that I should be at stadium heights, but I won't stop till he puts my name in lights. Like Ed, I used to be a dirty tap when I write. The tide is turned and the flow is coming out clean with a work ethic to match, but I've yet to be seen, and that hurts me. And the only one on this music scene that's catching instead of chasing after musical dreams. I'm addicted to pushing limits. I have to admit that a rock in a hard place is where I can commit. When it comes to working the mic, every line is legit. Sing a songwriter forever. I'm proving that I can measure up. I'm just a singer with the habit of spitting quicker lyrics over the beats to the songs that I've written. You can't understand unless you've been in my position. I'm aiming to be the best and I'm battling for respect. Cause we all face paths we might take. Always the right time and never the right next. No, hold on, it's all I'm living for. Hold on, don't let go. Save the dreaming for the dreamers, cause it's time to start the show. Hold on.
Yeah. Quation, man, you're cool. I can't wait to hang out with that guy. Everybody, what a treat this episode was. I'm so happy. We've had a couple disasters, but this one I think this was practically flawless. This was practically a flawless show. So we always end with this song. We usually do it as a sing-along, so everyone chooses a part and adds a harmony. Trevor, by the way, the acapella, I haven't gotten to it yet. I've got so much stuff on my plate, but I promise you I will listen to it and I'll add something. And who knows, maybe on Friday I'll be able to play it on the show, but don't worry, it'll be there. David Badignani, thanks for joining us today. And John, thank you so much. Thanks. John said my idea was awesome. If John says it was awesome, then I really believe it was awesome. So everyone, thank you. This Moment in Music, spread the word. We need more people live. I want 100 people live next Friday. And here's the song. you've got a light inside you. Go on your way in peace. So shine that light, the light inside you. Go on your way in peace. The world is waiting in the hope of another day. She will carry you safely through the stumbles and the falls on your way. Just remember that I'm loving you and you're loving me. So as you go, won't you go on your way now in peace? Yes, as you go, won't you go on your way now in peace? Everybody, you've got a light inside you. Go shine that light. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Hope to see you on Friday. Bye.